So, hello, this is a thing that, a lot of you had, well, some of you, I say, had asked about, you know. I put the whole community post up about, the TW9 or IX, whatever we call it. Are we calling it R9? Are we calling it IX? I don't know. Yeah. That thing, the new game coming out in just under, no, the beta comes out July 27th. And then the actual game comes out August the 3rd. Yeah. So I've elaborated what I'm gonna do. If obviously you want to go through it all, it's all on the community post, but I will go over it all here anyway, just in case there was confusion. So yeah, I was gonna go through the hype updates, because as somebody closing in on a certain milestone, I kind of want to keep the momentum rolling before the new game comes out, so I am going to, provide... It won't be every day. They do daily updates. If you want to see the daily updates, they'll all be on the Grey Dog forum. It's probably on this exact post, probably just update it all. But, yeah, I think, maybe once a week, if I have the time. Come on here, just, go through all the new features and everything, give my thoughts as, I guess, one of the biggest, not to toot my own horn or anything, in this sphere. I do look forward to the birth of new TEW videos that will come out when the new game comes out. Maybe I'll do a big hub thing for it. But yeah, I'm just going to go through over the post, discuss the game, my plans for it, etc. and stuff like that. Because it's a big thing right now, I thought, might as well get ahead of the curve and, discuss things now so I can get all the views from all the people that are looking for updates. So yeah, 12 hours, this was posted 12 hours ago, which... my time was 11 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. So, I was one of the first people to hear about it in my circle because it was posted in Discord, and I woke up and I was like, oh, there's a new TW game. I'm pleased to officially announce the newest game in the TW franchise, Total Extreme Wrestling IX 9. Well, what are we calling it? Will release by Grey Dog in just a few weeks. Additionally, the A for Popular Developers Journal will begin today in order to reveal what new features and changes you can expect. The public beta of TWX will be released on, those really with this, the public betas are free to play. So yeah, the frequently asked questions are, why is it called TW9 and not TW 2024? We decided to make this change to the naming scheme because having a year in the title is generally used to denote an annual release, as there are several years between modern TW releases. We hope to switch numbers be more appropriate going forward. What will the licensing situation be? The game will be under the QLM license system that Grey Dog Software has been using for the past couple of years. Those who have used it will know it's much easier to use in the convenience system than the old e-license system that we used in the past. So the e-license thing, that's already a thing that I like, because I think you can only have it on one PC with an e-license. But yeah. Will I be able to continue my TW 2020 save games? It says, no, as they are two separate products. As usual, a converter is provided so that TW 2020 databases can be converted to work with TW9. So yeah, that's... don't worry about that if you see that and think, oh my god, challenge run's ending. No, I will just convert the save into a database and then convert that database into a new database for the new game, so I will just be able to pick up where I left off. What new features will there be? The Developers Journal was going to go over that. It's just an entirely new game. TW9 is built on the same base as TW 2020, so you'll recognise the general layout and concepts. This is because there's no sense in reinventing the wheel when we already have very popular, stable bases to work off. I mean, very popular is subjective. I remember when TW 2020 first came out, everyone fucking hated it. But, yeah. The new features and changes are applied on top of that foundation to enhance and expand the game. Will there be a Mac version? No, it's still no for Mac users. I don't know how many Mac users there are. Will I meet the minimum requirements? Although TW is just definitely bigger than 2020, yes, you'll be able to play the new game. If you've got a potato, you can run TW. To avoid large spike in traffic, the problems that causes will not be announcing an exact time for release. It will be handled by Grey Dog Software and be useful on US time. Okay. So this is there's only one of these up so far, so I'll go over the first developers blog, and then I've got the Q&A thread here as well. I'll go over. So this is the developers journal where they're going to do daily updates for new features. Again, it'll probably be too soon for me to do one every single day to cover the new shit that comes out, but maybe once a week I'll come on here and yeah. Booking team / creative energy and ideas. Each company can now optionally have a booking team of up to 5 people. This team is there to assist the head booker in carrying out their duties. At the start of the night of a show, the booking team meets, even if it's just the head booker working alone. Each member is rated on their booking skill and generates a new concept of the game, creative energy. The higher the skill levels and better the team work together, the greater the levels of creative energy they will be able to generate. Some creative energy is automatically spent on the show to fulfill the basic creativity requirement of putting on a wrestling event. The longer the show is, the more creative energy is required. Okay, so like, for my WrestleMania, you know, you've got to have a shitload of creative energy for that, but for ECW that's 2 hours long, that'll be fine. With a penalty incurred for your final show rating if you don't have enough. Whatever CE is left over is banked and can be either saved to be used on future shows or spent on creative ideas, which we'll cover in a moment. The booking team is a high-pressure environment and will act as a hothouse. That is, relationships will tend to act as if they're on steroids, with people who would normally be mildly friendly really bonding, and people who'd normally be slightly antagonistic becoming enemies. That means that while you can stuff your booking team with lots of members in order to try and generate more CE, you're on the look at creating more drama. Having a chaotic booking team full of people playing politics, particularly if splits developed, can really harm how well it functions. So that's I've just said this literally before going to record this. The first mod that gets created for this game will almost certainly be, late WCW. Because, the whole appeal will be oh, you've got the Hulkster on your booking team, you've got Bischoff, you've got Russo, yeah. For me, in my save, I'd like to think there's not too much of that. It'll probably be me, Triple H, I don't know, who else I could even put on the booking team. We'll go with maybe Heyman, yeah. Additionally, people will always take quite a large morale hit if you kick them off the team, so you have to be careful about who you select. Keeping a close eye on the personalities involved in existing relationships is key. Smaller teams have the disadvantage that they don't have as many people contributing CE, but they become slightly easier to manage and get bonuses to simulate greater levels of focus. Overall, finding a balanced, well-adjusted booking team can be a great boon for a company, whereas a dysfunctional one can cause a lot of issues. This makes for a fun game within a game and add a new dimension to TEW. Oh, did I mention that people can also request/demand to join the team? Get annoyed if their political rivals are on the team, so you can potentially have to navigate tricky backstage politics that have lasting consequences. It's one of the ways the backstage environment will feel more alive than in previous games. Yeah, I really like the addition of trying to do more with the backstage thing, because, even with my roster that I have now, I have, a couple of people that have, negative morale traits, and everyone else is good. I'm as much as I don't want to wish for any issues, but, it does get a little bit boring. Having nothing to do, there's no reason for me to let anybody go. Because, everyone's just getting along nice. Add some drama to my life and force me to make big... I'll kick off about them and moan about them, and I have to do them. But, make them. Going back to the creative ideas, there are essentially purchasable booking aids that can be deployed to give certain effects. The available choices are creative finishes, angle ideas, gimmick ideas, storyline ideas, and character ideas. Each costs a certain amount of CE and then can be used in-game. For example, you might deploy a creative finish to a big match to try and boost its rating a little more, or use a gimmick idea to increase the chance of someone's new gimmick being more successful. Each idea comes with a success rating that tells you how much of a gamble it is. If the gamble doesn't pay off, you may actually experience a penalty from using it. An expiry date, which you have to use it by, and also you can keep a random restriction applied to it, such as only being able to use on a specific worker in a specific situation. When you purchase an idea, you can name it so that it's easy to keep track of what you have available to at any point in time. That feels like something I'll have to fiddle around with before I actually, get the grips of what and when to use it. It feels like something that, I feel like I have to use in action. Obviously, I will play the beta, probably on stream on this channel. So, yeah. You'll see my first time handling TW9 live before I, import challenge run over. These features work together better to make the backstage politics of wrestling, make the locker room environment more vibrant, give some fun extra mini-games to help you feel like you're actually sitting in a booker's chair. Okay, I welcome that. Tying into creative ideas feature described above, creatively minded workers on your roster can now come up with their own ideas that automatically get added to a arsenal of stored ideas. You don't have to purchase these, they come for free, but are restricted to being used on that worker alone. Of course, if a worker comes to you with a creative finish that's happened to be restricted by only being used when he wins, that does mean you might have to change your booking plans. Wrestlers pitching shit is something I've wanted for a while. I know you have the promises in 2020, but they can come to you and say I want to put this guy over, but it should be more. Fucking EWR does more than that. So yeah. New attributes have also been added to the game so that more creative workers can be stimulated. Okay. Locking child production values. By popular request, you can now set whether your child company is autonomous or not when it comes to changing their own production values or relying on you to do it for them. If you're a greater controller, allows you to stop situations where they're behaving in a way you don't want them to. Can I tell him who to and to not push? Because that's like my main request for developmental work, child companies, whatever. Is when I sign somebody, I go, hey, Shawn Michaels, push this guy because I want to keep him unbeaten. But, you've already jobbed him out like 10 times on level up because he's got no popularity. Many people like the GIF picture packs that allow custom backdrops to appear behind a worker's picture in the game. Indeed. Previously, this was limited to just being the company logo. This is actually I don't mean to correct the maker of this game. But he says this has previously been limited to just being a company logo, but has now been expanded to allow custom backdrops for companies, stables, alliances, and brands. It also worked for stables in 2020. But brand pictures. This, as somebody who was debating manually going in and changing the company logo to match the Raw, SmackDown, ECW logo every time I ran an episode, that's just easier because now all the ECW wrestlers have the ECW background, Raw, SmackDown, etc. Low-key, my favourite edition of the whole game because I'm a nerd for like fucking visuals and shit. These have separate subfolders within the picture folder to allow them to be easily distributed. Okay, that's a good degree of control over how the game looks. Good. Best edition so far. Better than any gameplay edition you could have done. By request, several new narratives have been added to allow a company's product to be updated, /evolved over time to match reality. Those, basically, if you're making an historical mod and you're doing, we're doing a 1992 WWE game, and then you get to the Attitude Era and you're still running fucking Duke Drozy, fucking worker wrestler gimmick era instead of Attitude Era, then yeah. But now you can fix that. I don't do historical mods, I might... I'll probably not as an actual save, because Challenge Run takes up enough of my time. But, maybe every now and again I'll stop by and go, here's what I've been doing offline. By request, database makers can now select broadcasting contracts to have random lengths. Okay, fair. So yeah, that's the day one developers journal, and now here's the Q&A, which he has given, some answers in here as well, so... So it's not over on the TEW 2024. We've talked about TEW9. Please use this thread /discussion /reaction to the announcement of the new game. Can this feature be deactivated if we're talking about the creative energy? One that I think will be a split opinion. I think it'll be really add to the immersion factor, provided it works as intended. This sort of addition can make TEW 2020 add to the gameplay of TEW post fantasy booking framework. Okay, yeah. Versions and around the booking teams are intriguing. Improves another twist of the game. It also makes the game feel more immersive in a way that our people on the booking team and workers. Yeah, I will be having a booking team coming, and if somebody if I have say, if Seth Rollins wants to join the booking team, and he pitches me an idea, and I'll be on video, I'll be yeah, this came from Seth in the game. Seth Rollins came up to me. He was I want to do this, and this. Yeah. Imagine a real-world WCW mod with Bischoff, Uso, Hogan all in one booking team. Yeah, that's why I say, I'm pretty sure the first historical mod that they make for this game will be, late WCW, so you've got to work around this. Everyone there ego going insane in the booking team with Ric Flair trying to be the voice of reason. Yeah. I think my booking team will be relatively tame, because it'll be me, Triple H, maybe Heyman. Maybe they'll, maybe with the addition of this, they'll make they'll add writers to the databases, and then they'll be on, and I'll import them and have them. Or, like I said, I may just add some of my friends from Discord as my booking team in the game, and then I can get angry at Tay when he pitches that the Miz does. I wish they could do if they're on your booking team, they can have certain wrestlers that are you could set their favorite wrestlers. So this isn't a feature that's in the game as far as I'm aware. This is just something that I'm spitballing. So if you just happen to be watching this, Adam Ryland, feel free to take it. You can set a handful of wrestlers that is each booker's favorite, and they will pitch for them more often than not. So if I had, for example, Tony Khan was on my booking team, he'd give me pitches for Orange Cassidy and the Young Bucks more than he would CM Punk. But yeah. And then he answers some of the questions, says, will this be feature that can be activated? It's obligatory, as it's a fundamental part of the game. You can effectively disable it by turning off morale and not having anyone on your team. There's no drawback to refusing requests to draw the team. Yes, that's there. If you want to turn it off, you can just... Or, pay them off when they get angry at you. Would a relationship between someone in the booking team and a worker influence them? For example, if Pride Koiso has Nobuyo Hikichi as a protege, will he present ideas? Internal politics are part of it, so, I'd have to set a friendship between Taylor and The Miz, and then he'd start pitching for The Miz more. Okay, unless they've added a new relationship, no, that it's just like, oh, he really likes this guy. Which is funny, because, I think my character in the game has, a lot of enemies. I think that there's, a couple of wrestlers that are, angry at me because I mishandled a drug situation with them or something. So, my guy in the game is not going to pitch stuff for those. So, yeah, no, I do like that. That sounds very fun. Yeah, I think it's going to add so much nuance. Yeah, because, every save is going to be different now. If I, for example, if I add Cody to the booking team, then I'll have to hire Sean Spears, and Sean Spears will start getting shit, and yeah. I will take advantage of this. I'm not going to, live and die by it, because I don't live and die by the promises in 2020. But if someone on my booking team is like, hey, you should do this, so I'm like, sure, I can. Yeah. And the to use workers' ideas for other workers. I think, this is what I'm going to say here, I think that would be funny, if Mark says here, I believe the Hall of Fame was something Tyrus, shout out Tyrus the GOAT, came up with and then given to Mark Henry. But then if you do that, that should give a negative morale to Tyrus. Funny that we're talking about Tyrus of all people, shout out to the GOAT. Is Team the Stables work like 2020? I'm assuming he's going to answer some of these questions, yeah. Surprised if you could just mention it's technically possible to continue to previous games 2020 since you can convert it. Yeah, this is what I was saying earlier on. If you read, you can't carry on your saves of 2020, and you've read that as challenge runs over. This is what I was talking about. I'm surprised the FAQ did mention it's technically possible to continue your previous games 2020 since you can convert your saves to a database. You can convert that database into a compatible one to start in the new game. Yeah, but it will probably take a couple of days, for me to actually. There'll probably be things that are in 9 that aren't in 2020, which is why I said Money in the Bank will be the last video in 2020, because it will probably take me a week or two to get the database properly functioning, because it will function if I just import it or export it and then import it and play it. But considering it lasted the entire of 2020, there's a good chance it could last the entirety of this game's life cycle as well. And I don't want to be fucking 3 years deep playing a database that doesn't work properly with the game. I want to make sure it works properly before I actually start it properly. So that's what the pause and hold up will be. How do we decide which GIF image will be in the background for workers? I'm assuming it will be prioritized. Oh, here we go, yeah. My main question is create a team. Are they company-wide? If you have a brand split, it's one team, okay? I understand it'll be difficult to program, one for each brand, but maybe in the future. Yeah, stable supersede brands which supersede company specific. Yes, nice. So if I've got an undrafted, say Top Dollar right now is doing the free agent gimmick, he'll have the WWE generic background on him, but then Carmelo Hayes will have the SmackDown logo on him because he's on SmackDown but not in a stable, and then EO will have the Queendom background because she's in a stable. Yeah, makes sense. The game comes out super soon already. Will there give me a full screen resolution? I think it's the same resolution as 2020, which is annoying for a lot of people, but fine by me because I haven't got to change my layout at all. Yeah. Hard to get excited about any of the new features, knowing if the game is still a slog to mod. 2020 didn't reach its full potential because of this. Yeah, WMMA 5 had some modding features we didn't have. Again, I don't know much about the actual modding side of things. I just play. I'm using a mod someone made 4 years ago. Yeah. Whereas have some kind of agency regarding the direction of their booking, which sounds like a major plus when it comes to making saves more unique. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Everybody's saves will be different now. 2 biggest things I want are products to be customizable, like on 16, and upgradable alliances. Yeah, cross-promotional thing, obviously with the rise of Forbidden Door and shit, I think making cross-promotional shit easier should be a priority. And also, the shit I deal with NXT, where I want to defend the NXT title on the main roster, but I have to vacate it, and all that shit. So it's just easy to not do it. That feels like an easy fix. Spider shirt. Then it's about the potential creative worker stuff. One thing I like to see implemented is an expansion on pre-booking, so if you can actively book shows or angles well in advance. So you have an angle 1 week, you can pre-book the follow-up angle on the next TV show in week 2. Yeah, so you mean so basically just multi-booking weeks of TV instead of just one is what that's saying. Fantasy draft scenario, all promotions I feel like it won't have that, but that would be a sick idea. Like FM can do a draft. Like, yeah. I would do a shitload of them offline with my friends if that was a thing. Because the other thing I'm hoping for is a harder financial balance across the board. Finances seem to balloon out of control. I've got like 900 million in the bank. Yeah. Will the Cornellverse be updated? I'm not a Cornellverse player, because there's a lot of lore I've got to read. But, I assume it will be for those of you who do play the Seaverse. We can now ask veterans to mentor specific younger wrestlers. Once suggested, my save is more than 2 years in, and the amount of actual new mentorships created by the game are minimal. Cemented veteran and rookie pairings on my roster are that would make perfect sense to pair up. Then do it in the editor. I did it for ones that I think make sense in the editor, but but that is also a good idea. I could just ask, hey, Sasha Banks, you've been hanging around with Indy Hartwell for 3 months. Teach her some shit. I suggested that, and also ask people to form tag teams would be a fantastic feature. Yeah, but you can just form teams. So I get the idea, but you can just form tag teams. Unless he means you go up to a singles guy and go, hey, I've got nothing for you, do you want to find a partner? And then he has to go out and find a partner he's got Ken with, and then they can form a team. Because that would be kind of sick. The ability to officially unify titles and select workers to push them in a developmental company. Yep, that is the main one that I'm after. More control of what happens in NXT, because I want to treat NXT as somewhat canon in my save. But it's hard because the NXT lore is all sort of wacky. Because they're putting the belts on fucking people that I don't want to be in my history as champions. I'm like, no. So yeah, if I could just tell AI Shawn Michaels, don't push Evan Bourne. He's down there when I need him for velocity. Don't put the North American title on him. Push Obafemi. Because how long it's been in development when it was announced for the beta within 4 weeks. I do think it has been I think I did read that it was in development for over a year. So yeah. It just didn't get announced until now. I think Adam would figure out a way to make PNGs work rather than GIF. It would just look so much better. I personally won't be using it. Well, GIF is basically the same thing. Nobody does, but if you're watching this and you didn't think it was possible, you can just get a PNG of a wrestler. It doesn't have to be in the little square. You can just get a PNG of a wrestler's head, save it as a GIF, and it will work the way that you want it to. If that's the first you're hearing of it, then you're welcome, but it is a thing. You could even do, you could save a 150 by 150 GIF of a PNG of the WWE logo, and save that as the GIF as your company logo, and then save a PNG of AJ Styles' face as a GIF, and it would work with it does work like that. So that just feels like a very nitpicky thing of you just saying, I want the specific file ending, because the way GIFs are in the game now, they work how you want PNGs to work. Actually, you've quality work on this all this time. Yeah, I agree. There has been no updates to 2020 for months, so something was obviously up then during that time. I personally would be surprised if it's rushed. It wouldn't be a good look after the release of 2020 went. Yeah, the 2020's base release was a shit show. I don't know how many of you were around for it, but the way the thing is set up now on the menu screen, or all the tabs on the right, that was just an unorganized glob of just fucking buttons without it's now divided into booking and developmental and shit like that. It was just one big blob of just squares to press. It was ugly. I just purchased Out of the Park yesterday for my fantasy management void. What a good day to have bad luck. Yeah, you know, I got jump scared with the news and I woke up as well. I was up till fucking 5:30 watching Forbidden Door. So I went to bed and I woke up. The first thing I saw was, hey, new TEW dropped. Yeah, it's been development for over 18 months. Yeah. And again, it's being built on top of 2020, so like there is still some of the base assets of the last game that... It's effectively a Smash Ultimate for Smash 4. For those of you who understand that reference. Hey, speaking of Smash, it's kind of Falcon. I pre-ordered this today. I don't do that for other games, but GS games are the exception. Yeah, you know, plenty of AAA games coming out this year, but this is the shit that's going to sink my life. Hopefully some more in-game editing can be done. Release X from contract, change from only events. Lock skills, make someone unlockable every time. Okay. Probably about 3 KOs in 2020 while booking a such a great feature. Some other changes or features I'd love to see in TW. Okay, let's go through these. These aren't in the game. This is just what Jay Sounder on the Grey Dog Software Forums wants in the game, and I'll critique his pitches. More economy control in setting up errors. We should be able to edit merch and attendance on top of TV, PvP buys. Does there a percentage of rather default? I'm not... I've never really got too deep into historical mods, so if you say so, yeah, I'll take your word for it. Owners should take dividends for their company if it's profitable, and there should also be a feature to reflect the company's life cycle. Owners would not take dividends and may even do cash infusions to help their company afford more expensive talent, so the Tony Khan route, yeah. And then obviously you got Vince down here, who's just taking all the money away. That could be interesting. Well, should be able to make requests to the booker. Yep, this is a big one that I think is... I'd like to main event a pay-per-view, be in a feud with worker, form a tag. Yeah, like I say, they can ask to put somebody over, but they can't say, like, oh, I want to work with, like, Randy Orton can come to me and say, I want to put over Carmelo Hayes. But, like, what if he wants to work with Daniel Bryan? Like, this you can just go, yeah, you know, that'd be sick. Do it. And also, if that is a thing, then they should be guaranteed to have good chemistry, because why would he come to me and say, me and Daniel Bryan would have a banger, book it, and then it'd be shit. Fulfilling their requests increases morale, by ignoring it will decrease it. The lower the worker pop, the less often they should make requests. People also add an option to prevent workers from making requests at all, but it will decrease the locker room morale a bit. Yeah, the Vince McMahon rule. We should also be able to generate a worker request in the talk to worker menu. That feels like that could be abused, though. Like, I get the idea, but maybe like once every 3 months. We should be able to trade promises. I want to take the second level belt off you, but in exchange for you putting over X for that title, we'll get a few for the primary title I made in my pay-per-view. That's a lot to code, but I can appreciate the idea. I know we can pay people off to offset them being happy with a finish, but I feel like the more negotiations like this will be much more enjoyable. Workers' personality should affect what they want in return. Mercenaries should really only want money, but driven workers will expect to be elevated up the card. Yeah. Social groups similar to Football Manager. We kind of do have that with the cliques now. But anyway, rather than the workers having flat-out friends, best friends, simmering tension, relationships should be more dynamic. Workers should form cliques based upon these tags. Again, they do, but like I'm assuming you mean more in-depth. Personalities and age. Mentors will pull their mentee into their clique. Younger workers are less likely to join a clique full of veteran workers. Each clique should have a leader who shapes their clique's relationship with other cliques based upon their relationship levels and / tags. Sean and Brett have separate cliques in 97. Workers in their respective cliques will lose relationship with the other cliques due to Sean and Brett's animosity towards each other. Low relationship between cliques should affect overall backstage morale. This should also help clean up the backstage relationships tab, which for large companies is an endless scroll bar. So what you're proposing is the CM Punk Collision Elite Dynamite. Again, that would make, like, I call it historical mod because I guess technically it would be the AEW Collision historical mod, where you've got to balance the Punk clique and the Elite clique. That would be a great mod concept. Each worker should be able to save up to 2 gimmicks, face and heal, and return to a former fan favorite gimmick after an extended period of time. Saved gimmick should slowly refresh over a period of time and will eventually recharge back up to its higher fan reaction level. Undertaker returned to his Dead Man gimmick after being biker for 4 years. Nothing feels worse than a legend getting a poor gimmick when having to go back to a piece. Yeah, I get that. And changing gimmick, like, if I get a legendary gimmick, it should be stored. Like, I should have a gimmick history of, like, every gimmick they've had and, like, the rating that it had at its peak. So I can just go, yeah, go back to your good gimmick. But also, that could also be very abusable. So, but again, that's why it takes time. That's why this person's thought this out more than I have. I'm just reacting to what I'm reading. Gimmick points. Yeah, refresh system. Did Ryland answer anything else? I think that's all the questions have been answered. Yeah, that seems to be all the questions. So that's all the information we know now. But yeah, I went into it again in the community tab. I might as well do it all now. In terms of like the actual content of Challenge Run, this won't change much outside of the game that I'm playing. Like, if the game looks incredibly similar to 2020, like it uses the same resolution, but if it uses like the same layout and everything, you'd barely be able to tell a difference, apart from like small changes here and there. But the series will be renamed, obviously, from TEW 2020 Challenge Run episode 500 and whatever to TEW9 Challenge Run episode 1, but it is the same series. Like, it's not going to be a new series. It's going to pick up from where we left off. There'll be an episode 0 or something going over, like, mainly just from Mania to now, because I did episode 500. If you want to do the whole series, go watch episode 500. It's got the entire rundown of all 4 years of the game. So yeah, and then once that comes out, I'll probably be doing live stream of a save, probably with probably TNA, because that's the law, but also maybe not, because I might want to do WWE just because it's the easiest one to do, because it's the easiest way to like try out all the new things, because you're WWE, you've got everything. So I don't know, I'm undecided, but there'll be some kind of, and I'll do it live, so like if you've got questions for it, you can like say, hey, can you do this, this, and this, and we can figure it out together. But yeah, again, they'll be coming out daily, the developer diaries. If you're in the Discord, you'll know I'll be in there just talking about them as they drop. If you're not, you could join, and I'll talk about them in there. If you're not on that app at all, because it's a cesspool, and I understand, maybe I'll come back next week and go over all the ones that have happened in the meantime, and maybe like any important things in the Q&A section. Yeah. So that's just about all. That's just, capitalizing on the TEW9 hype, because, this is the first... Well, no, that's a lie, because I did 2016, and then I came back when 2020 came out, which means Challenge Run has lasted the entire year 2020's lifespan, which is pretty cool. But this is the first, game cycle that is happening since I've been on here, because I was technically away when the 2020 cycle was going on. And we had to wait a year for 2020. I've only got to wait a month for this. So, it's a month of hype rather than a year of hype. This time next month I'll be playing the beta of this game. But, yeah. So, those are the new features to look forward to there. And I'll see you next time for either the next Challenge Run episode or the next update, daily diary, blog, what are they even called? Developer's diary, developer's journal. Yeah, well, I'll probably have more than one, because again, probably won't be every day. But yeah, at some point in the future, I'll have multiple that I haven't reacted to, and I'll go over them all there. Just because I want to give my intake on the features and like how I think they could be used and how they'll affect the series, because giving the series a new life. I know we're 500 episodes in, and I feel like I'm at my peak now. I'm better than I was 4 years ago, but I could always use something to give me, especially if people are going to pitch characters to me in the game. because there are a lot of workers I've got that aren't really doing anything. But yeah, now I'm rambling, you know. But long story short, Safe going nowhere technically. Well, it is. It's going from one game to another, but it'll be paused for a week or two once I hit July in game, because I'll hit June probably like in a week or two, and then like I'll be twiddling my thumbs waiting for like a month and a half, and I don't want to do that. So, no, the way I'm going, 2020 will probably 9 will be out, and I still won't have reached June. But I'll still be on 2020 until it is, because I assume I've got to wait to. No, I have definitely, because I've got to turn it into a database. So yeah, I have to wait until the start of the month, which will be Monday, July week 1. Yeah, so Money in the Bank will be the last video on 2020. But yeah, that's all. Goodbye.